我的优点呢，就是我诚实，这样公司才会相信我，这样公司才会相信我。第二点是，我有自信心，还有拼搏的精神，这样才可以做出正确的投资。I think many times it's a question of time commitment because community work can involve a lot of time commitment. For me, I did not set out to want to be here today. I set out to want to contribute back to my community in little bits. So as I was saying just now during the interview, I think if you can attract some people to come and put in a little bit of time, and then slowly, if they find that they have the heart to do it, they'll naturally want to do more of it. My father has always given me a lot of independence since I was young, and he has always allowed me to make my own decisions. I've been away from Singapore for a long time, and I came back to Singapore maybe about, say, 2 years ago. And when I came back, I felt that I wanted to do something. So I started, volunteering in community work, first at Chong Pang and then at Marsiling. So, in terms of influence, definitely I watched my father as I was growing up. And I've seen him helping residents and I've seen him helping workers. I think he got a lot of sense of satisfaction from that. But in terms of making the decision to come out today, I think it was entirely on my own. He told me to think very carefully about it because this is something that requires a lot of time, a lot of energy, that I must really have the heart to do it. But if I've decided to do it, then he would support me wholeheartedly. I think I was way too young to be involved in political rallies at a point in time. So I would say my answer is no. We talk about family stuff most of the time. And what we're going to have for dinner. I mean, not to sound flippant, but this is really something that we talk about because my work is very esoteric. I trade commodities. And if you want something more specific, it's something that I don't relate to my father much on a professional capacity. And in terms of his work, we talk about the grassroots sometime, how some of the MPS cases that I see, and how some of the suggestions that he makes, how I can improve. So we talk about those issues. It's not anything contradictory or anything that will necessarily lead us into. I haven't, and when I came back, so naturally you would think that when you come back, if you are thinking of helping a community, then you try to drop by your father's branch and see what happens, right? But he told me that you're not gonna get a good education from me. I think you might get a better education if you go to Mr. Shanmugam's constituency and observe what he does. So that was what I did, and that was where I went. Because I would think that Mr. Shanmugam's constituency, there are usually a lot of people coming every week, and there are a lot of volunteers helping Mr. Shanmugam. So it's very easy for me to sit with the experienced grassroots leaders in the constituency because there are many people for me to learn from, and will speed up my learning curve.
Would you break rank with the party if you disagree with certain policies?
I think it's not so black and white. I think all of us who come out here today believe in the core values of the party. Things like meritocracy, things like having a progressive society. I think these are all what we can identify with. Many times I feel that policy making, I've never been a policy maker myself, and as always from looking from the outside. But policy making is a difficult thing. It's always easy to criticize a single policy, but you got to look at its knock-on effects on the larger whole. So I think the question to ask is, has the government formulated an overall policy solution that is... I think one of my weaknesses is my relative lack of grassroots experience. I've not been involved for a long time. I've been involved for 2 years, but I've been very lucky to have a lot of experienced grassroots volunteers to guide me along and to show me the ropes. So in that aspect, I feel very thankful. Well, I feel that when I was in London, the situation was similar to what I had in Chicago. And I felt that, I was a minority living in a foreign land. So it was very important for me to respect, and in fact, for the government to, when it formulates its policy to respect different races and different cultures, much like what we are trying to do now, racial harmony in the country. And when I was living in Tokyo, it showed me the importance of having a unity and cohesiveness, especially with the recent tragedy. And I think that is an aspect that the Singapore government is trying to promote recently, to be united and to be cohesive. I think these are both important aspects that we can learn from them. I do not really think so, because I think we do a pretty good job, especially on the GRC level. We try to have MPs of different representations, different races, to represent the interests of the whole group of people. I think we have things like CDAC, Mendaki, and Sinda that reach out to the different races. So in that sense, I feel racial lines are not really being focused upon keenly in Singapore, and I feel we're doing a good job at trying to create a harmonious society. As to aspect whether I find that there was discrimination in other, I feel Singapore. I'm just very thankful to be here. That as I've said, you don't have to be afraid to be discriminated against, whether you're Malay, Indian, or Chinese. If you have the qualifications, you can go for a certain job. If you're good enough, you can do certain things. So I think it's a very fair system that we have here. I think in terms of education, I remember reading an article in The Economist magazine which said that young people, if they spend some time abroad, had better lateral thinking. So I think it is an aspect of our education that we can try to supplement. Having young people, students, spend some time abroad. And I think, as the PM pointed out recently, that we're already doing that. Naval-based secondary schools sending a student to Spain for the art program. Or a lot of our primary and secondary schools have twinning programs with their counterparts in other countries. I think this is all, policy moving in the right direction. I think the question to ask, in my work during the MPS, sometimes I do get residents who need legal help. And one of the criteria of the Legal Aid Bureau is $10,000 of income for a year, or to have less than $10,000 of disposable cash in the bank. I feel that a lot of my residents might be deserving of help, although they don't reach the criteria. So again, I feel that this is a policy in the right direction, because for the government to even think about providing legal help, that shows that the government is concerned. But maybe, we can try to catch more people along the cracks and, try to help more people. But again, it's a question of resources, and how do we balance that? So it's always a difficult problem. I'm very fortunate to have a spouse that supports me 100% in what I do. I met her some time back in Hong Kong when I was doing my internship, and we fell in love and we got married. She's a housewife; she takes care of the family, and I appreciate very much, because I have my professional work and I have my branch work. So to have a wife who takes care of the family, that means a lot to me.
Okay. How old is she?
Some details of my wife, maybe I'd like to keep private, if you don't mind.
Singaporean, or is she from Hong Kong?
She's from Hong Kong. I met her from Hong Kong.
Okay. And then you moved here after your
Yes.
She's
always been very supportive of what I wanted to do. So again, she's very supportive of me coming to politics, because I think that both of us view it as an opportunity to try to help people of our community.